Okay, so here we are back in round 2, and Yifan has to win this game with the white pieces, and I probably have to find the board now as well. So if you bear with me 1 second, we'll try to bring up the right game here. Okay, so
okay, she says he's got game 2.
Okay, game 2, important broadcast. Is that the one? Okay, game 2 in progress. Here we are. I'll bring it up now. Encountered an improper argument. It's not good, is it? Out of memory. Oh no. Okay, I might need your help here, Macaulay, because.
Okay, Stu, what do you think Nigel's first move will be in the game?
Okay.
I think she's going to go 1e4.
Sorry.
So I will Nigel
E5.
You think E5? Yeah, I was thinking maybe the same. Yeah.
Okay.
French is
It's been a
possible.
French, and my bet was h6 in the Tarash. So classical with knight f6. Okay, knight f6 could be. Okay. Unfortunately, it's the best time of the tournament to have technical problems. Yeah, and we'll be back with it very soon. Yeah. Okay. So there goes the microphone as well. Okay, so we can look at the position now. It's a classical. Okay. We have the classical French here already, and well, Nigel only needs to draw this position, so he can. Well, it's obvious that Yifan has to take the risks here. She has to win the game. Nigel was very happy to play a solid opening. Otherwise, he might have played bishop to b4 earlier on. But queen to b6, I haven't seen that move. Knight to c6 is more common earlier on. So queen to b6 is, well, we saw this policy in the previous game, that Nigel played an opening that maybe Yifan didn't know so well, and now just capture on d4. So we can play a solid kind of game here, maybe do mass exchanges, and I guess, well, obviously Black just wants to keep it solid here. And what do you think of this position, Mickey? Do you have any idea? I mean, I haven't seen this kind of structure before, actually, in this particular position. Is bishop c5? It's a bit unusual, this opening, a little bit unusual, because normally you have bishop on c5 here already, and other options. And well, Nigel's throughout the tournament played very clever openings. I mean, he's always picking the right opening for the right opponent, and I think this has been a big strength of his. Against Sasha Kieran today, he played this Benoni system. And he managed to win, and now he's in this position to win the tournament. And I don't think Yifan looks that happy there. This is maybe you're right, Mickey. Like when you said, like she's not well prepared for this blitz thing, because it's quite hard psychological. She's only 17 years old. You can't forget that 17 years old is.
Well, neither of them look too happy at the moment. I think.
No, okay, yeah, okay, yeah. But Mickey. We look happy, cheers. Yeah, okay, so okay. That's the main thing, yeah. So we can happily just watch this. And, well, okay, the pieces might come off. Knight takes d4, I guess, has to be played here. And Nigel, maybe he can even play knight to b8 to c6. And the more exchange that are made, the harder it is for white to win this. So it looks like potentially, yeah, knight d4, maybe knight to b8, possible. And, well, I'm sure this is not the position that white wants in a must-win situation. Mickey, would you like this position in a must-win situation?
Well, I'm not doing too well guessing the moves here.
Okay.
Wrong, but, I thought Nigel would play bishop c5 actually instead of taking on d4.
Okay.
And actually,
nice.
I thought white would play c takes d4. So.
Okay.
But I mean, the position looks okay now. I would think maybe now bishop c5 looks like a possible move.
And is c take, okay, bishop c5. C takes d4 is very similar to a Tarish line you used to play, is that correct?
Well,
with,
c takes d4, white has some space. I mean, you know, it might be looking at some kind of endgame advantage, but, you know, white has big space advantage there.
Yeah.
But, okay.
It's a lot of pressure on this game though, isn't there? A lot of pressure.
Maybe not a normal star. I think she prefers sharper positions.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're the French player. I mean, you know.
Well,
wouldn't you be fairly happy with this for black?
I think I'd be quite satisfied with this position, to be honest. I mean,
because now f6 is you know,
it's
I mean,
a typical move, isn't it? Yeah.
Moment.
I mean, Nigel. I mean, the problem is he might be forced to play well, not forced, but he could play castles on f6 and just try to blow the position up. maybe if he wants to play rook b1 is not a move you want to play with white. I mean, okay, well f6 I guess now is the way to try to.
Yeah, well, I guess she's hoping to play bishop e3 and then maybe continue b4 or something like this.
Okay.
But it looks a bit slow with b1, of course.
Yeah. So maybe f6 is the move to play here. But if you play a move like f6, you're playing very, very dangerously, because a draw is a happy result. It might affect you psychologically wise. I mean,
f6 looks quite decent. I mean, maybe
yeah.
knight b8, recycling the knight is another possibility.
Yeah. Mickey, just quickly, I saw you had the same position today as you had yesterday against Almasi, and it was similar kind of opening, wasn't it? I mean, the same kind of structure.
No, I had the same position just
Yeah.
in all my black games, more or less.
Yeah.
And now I'm getting 2 blacks in a row, so
Yeah.
just kept on seeing the same position is a bit miserable. What to do?
Have you got the relay here, have you? Or?
Yes.
Okay, right, so we've got another board. Okay, looks like we're back in action now, when it's heating up. And we have a glass of red wine, Mickey. Can't be bad, can it? So,
Yeah.
okay.
Full hospitality here.
Yeah, it's, well... Okay, so we're getting the moves live. They should come up on the cam now. And, well, white has to win this game to go to another playoff. It looks to me like, well, let me just not drop everything first. It looks to me like black is reasonably comfortable in this position. Maybe, as you mentioned, Mickey, white's not particularly happy with, you know, maybe not what white wants in this game.
No, I mean, I think she probably should have played c takes d4. It looked to me like that was the way to go, because
Right. So
you
in
know,
this
knight
position,
d4, rook b1 now looks really.
Okay, hang on a minute. This is
After knight takes d4, I thought maybe
Right,
c takes
okay.
d4 was
and then
was perhaps the way she has to play. And
okay, with a space advantage.
you know,
Okay,
then she can play maybe bishop d3 next, and
Yeah.
you know, get castled. Yeah, some potential.
Yeah, very similar to a line you used to play in the Tarash, I think, with f4, and bishop takes d4. Okay, well that's okay. So I guess white has to play c takes here, because queen exchange probably not what white is looking for here. Then knight b8 maybe. I mean, play the position like this. Maybe you can even go bishop d7 to b5 quickly. If I can get rid of the light squared bishop.
Yeah, I mean,
Probably okay.
Maybe taking with the queen isn't completely impossible. I mean,
Okay, so
I mean, it's an endgame with the pair of bishops, but
Yeah.
I guess Nigel will play. I guess he's planning to take a knight b8.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to say, okay, he's very solid, and he's just going to sit in some very solid position. But okay, you know, maybe at some stage white can try and activate the dark squared bishop.
yeah. If you can get the bishop to this diagonal, I guess later on in the
that was
game
what
it
I
could
was
be.
thinking, but it's not easy to do it. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
but okay, well, white's decided to keep the queens on. I guess that's just maybe
Yeah.
thinking about need to keep the queens on in order to win this
yeah,
game.
I think it's not such a.
I mean, if I was a gambling man on the result of this game, I'll go for a draw. Okay, maybe.
Well, you know, we'll see.
never know.
We'll see. It's still early
Yeah.
days. I don't think her opening's gone very well, but
No.
you know, it's there's a lot of play still in the game.
And I don't know if we can get the time situation here, because we don't get it live on the boards here, but this is going to be quite interesting. It seems like they spent a fair bit of time reaching this position.
White on
So-
move with just under 7 minutes. Black has 6.5 minutes.
Okay, so they've still got plenty of time left to work out what to do in this position.
Yeah. I mean, one problem is here, if say bishop e2, Nigel might go bishop d7 first, and he's threatening bishop b5.
Yeah.
I mean, if he changes these bishops, it starts to look very
Very unpleasant for
limited
white even.
prospects for white. I mean, yeah.
I mean, do you have to play bishop d3 so you can... I
Maybe
know
bishop d3, but then the d pawn starts to look a
Yeah,
bit sensitive.
just
of
knight
course.
c6 or
Yeah.
bishop e3 and...
Yeah, or bishop d7 again after bishop d3.
yeah.
So
It's a little bit, maybe a little bit tough for white here.
yeah,
I mean,
queen g4 looks like it's going nowhere. Probably black can just castle there, so there doesn't seem to be
Okay.
any possibility there. So it's hard to see something really active for white here.
yeah. I guess normally in these positions, you need a knight on f3 so you can sacrifice it somewhere or something.
okay,
don't
she
you?
played an interesting move there,
Okay,
b4.
b4. Okay, good stuff. So gaining space. So white does have a big space advantage here. I mean, that's one thing in bishop e3. Sorry, knight c6, bishop e3, bishop d7 has been played.
Yeah, but
And,
this b4 was good though, because it cut out this bishop d7 to b5 possibility I was mentioning. At least she slowed that down a bit, because that was a big threat to her position.
Maybe white does have something. I mean, white's got a lot of space, I guess. So it's bishop e2, just simple moves. And don't worry about the computer suggestion a knight takes b4, because that's probably not the best move here. And maybe something small.
I mean, I guess knight e7, she's going to have to play either b5 or a4, maybe a4 there to try and control the b5 square. But then it's not so clear that it's starting to look a bit more cramped. So this b4 was an excellent move. I have to say, really good move.
Very good move.
In a tricky situation, just to create some kind of pressure.
Yeah, I guess the point is if black now plays bishop d7, you have the choice of a4 or b5 even. To stop the bishop coming to b5 and get in a very simple position. So actually after bishop e2, white does have some squeezing opportunities here. I mean, maybe Nigel's bishop takes d4. I'm not sure I actually like that immediately. I don't understand why you have to play that here. A move like f6, as you mentioned, might maybe queen g4.
Okay. I mean, but they're reasonable moves. We'll sort of stick with the game. I think they've played knight e7, a4 now.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is knight f5. The bishop just drops back to f2, and then white can maybe play g4 and kick the knight in the long term.
Yeah.
And it's not so good not to have a dark squared bishop here. It can, in the long term, it can give you problems.
As you mentioned earlier, if this bishop does manage to get around to b4, maybe then into this diagonal, it could be a little bit difficult. But okay, so castles. Do you think white's slightly better here? I mean, I
don't think Nigel will like this so much, because he's not very active, and Nigel in general likes to be active. In rook c8, he's looking to create some problems down the c line. Of course, this pawn on a4 attacked by the bishop, so white's queen's a little bit tied down. So that's a reasonable idea from Nigel's point of view. Maybe she might consider playing b5 here.
Okay, so we can have a look at b5 is maybe what she's thinking of playing. And the bishop, the problem with I guess the French in general is this bishop on d7, and the bishop here does look pretty terrible on d7 square. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what are the rules. That this if white wins this game, do they play a sudden death game? Does anyone know? They play one sudden death game, do they? Okay, well that's worth tuning into. Okay, so
5 minutes and 4 seconds for Hou Yifan, and Nigel coming up on the 5-minute mark as well.
Okay, so they both used roughly half their time here to reach this position, and it's slightly easier for white to play this. Black's a little bit cramped, and I guess Nigel's not particularly happy.
I don't think he'll be too upset. I mean, okay, I guess he'll castle. I mean, white still has to prove something. I mean,
yep. Only needs a draw. Maybe some c3 entry square for the rooks at some stage as well. I mean, I guess maybe rook c3 is an idea. Just try to put these pieces here. Okay, but the current position is after bishop to f2. Where the moves will come very quick and fast soon, because they're getting. Is it 10 seconds a move they get? I guess it's 5 seconds a move. I think they only get 5 seconds.
So she played queen b3 to stop the rook c3 possibility. I mean, rook, some kind of rook doubling looks. Maybe just rook c7 looks. Normal kind of thing.
And
Maybe then we'll look at this b5 and try and play some queen b4, target the knight. It might be a way forward.
Okay, yeah, the queen can maybe come in on dark squares. Could be
a possible continuation.
Yeah, after. I mean, let's just see. So
I guess another option after queen b3, he could consider maybe playing f6. I don't know. I guess it's sort of typical French move.
Yeah.
Then he's got the possible plan of playing bishop e8 to g6, bringing the bishop into play that way. So it's another.
Okay, queen c7.
Instead he's gone queen c7. Okay.
This control of the c file is quite useful, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably looking to change queens if possible. Probably desirable for black.
gets. And I guess you have to go b5. The queen's come on because the a4 pawn could be a target. Yeah, it's going to be very close. I mean, if White manages to win this game, it's going to be extremely interesting tiebreak. It's all in one game, I hear. If White wins this game, just one game decided on the final game, and White will probably have to win. Mickey, I guess you've been in that position before for some.
Yeah.
Okay.
Normally not very successfully, but I've come across a few of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Both sides having to win and having to draw. It's a
bit of an odd situation.
A lot at stake for that kind of game here.
Yeah.
So I think she'll play b5. I think she probably maybe has to play b5. Looks like the move. Just to okay, the queens may come off, but still some chances for White on the queen side.
I mean, does Black take on b5 first?
I would think he'd probably take and either queen c2 or queen c3.
Okay, one of these moves, something like this happens. And then, I mean, maybe bishop d...
Maybe take and bishop d3, something like that.
Okay, so takes. Then, it's a potential line where I suppose White's aiming to kick away Black's pieces and then just play against his cramped pieces with
just
two
saying
bishops.
The bishop on d7 isn't great, and maybe some entry down the a file or somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe the bishop can regroup. So it's not maybe some edge for White, some small advantage maybe. And
you can maybe use your idea if rook c3 of going. Okay, queen h3. Wow.
Yeah, okay, she's much more aggressive.
That's that's an all-in move, isn't it? I mean,
I think she wants to keep the queens on, so it's quite logical in a sense. And she's obviously lining up. Queen c2 is impossible because of bishop d3, obviously.
Yeah. Okay. And if queen c3, I guess bishop d3 anyway.
Probably bishop d3 anyway.
And
but I don't know. Maybe then something like knight g6, perhaps. I mean, is that so?
Well, I think it's quite hard to kick this queen away. Well, what's happened there?
It's just a pawn.
It's a pawn.
It was a pawn.
Okay,
didn't even notice a pawn.
This has actually happened. So queen h3. I mean, I think I kind of agree with you that maybe she's not particularly well prepared for these games. I mean, you mentioned that in a respect. She's only 17 years old, and to be under this much pressure, I mean...
I think it's not so much preparation, it's difficult to adjust, and it's very easy to be in this situation, and afterwards you think, what did I do? I didn't play at all, I just wasn't ready for the start of the game. You think you're ready, but because the games are so quick, you only have 10 minutes, you think for a couple of minutes, and suddenly you use, 20% of your time. It's really, really
tough position to be in,
Yeah.
And after this, this is...
Yeah,
the other thing with this, what Black now always had bishop b5.
Well, that's right. So she has to do something very fast.
Yeah. So after bishop d3, h6, bishop h4.
Well, I guess now bishop b5 will come, and then okay, she has to show something fast.
She maybe has to take on e7 at some point and go f5. I mean, I don't know. I
don't know.
I mean,
taken g4 or
I mean,
it looks really kind of.
I mean,
gung-ho,
because Black's always got this entry around here. I mean,
the knight is hanging for the moment, which is the only good news. But
so if White decides to take on b5 and play,
I mean, bishop e7, queen e7, f5 takes doesn't look.
There's no threats to the king.
Looks
really.
Not enough to. Not enough.
But if Black gets the move, maybe this knight can just play, then queen c3, swapping off. I mean, I think this has gone wrong. I think this queen h3 is maybe a little bit over the top.
Something like bishop f6, but it doesn't really threaten anything. Okay. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's some kind of randomized kind of move, but looks desperate.
Okay. Then this knight moves, maybe g6 seems reasonably
No, there's not
solid.
really a threat. I mean, that's the problem. Yeah, knight g6 looks quite possible.
Yeah, I think as soon as the black queen gets in, it's some pressure there. Queen h3 reminds me of a move I'd probably play here, to be honest. I mean, I'd just give this a punt.
I think she perhaps forgot about the pawn or something, because I think
it's a tense position.
It's obvious that once the pawn goes and bishop b5 comes, then
it's a big thing.
The potential goes out of the position very quickly.
And Nigel must be big favourite now. I mean,
I would guess so. I don't know what the clock is, but I guess he's doing quite well there too.
This has happened. Bishop b5, bishop takes, a takes, and now it's white to move in this situation, needing a win. Black is a pawn up with control of the c-file. So it looks like Gary Quillen owes me £20. But in the meantime, I mean, it's not been the best show from Yifan, but she's had an amazing tournament. and very hard to adjust when you have only half an hour to play the next game, and you suddenly have to change from a long play game into a quick play game. And maybe this queen to h3 move is a little bit over the top, potentially. And well, okay, I mean, White's got to go gung-ho somehow.
Yeah, I think she just, in this game, I think she got a bit trapped by the must-win situation, and she started to play very aggressive. And I think from the opening, she has to accept that if she was going to win the game, it was going to be a long end game, and she could grind. And maybe that was the way to try and put pressure. And Queen H3 looks like she's trying to force some attack that just wasn't there.
And
Had to.
Here we go with Rook F3.
Rook F3. Well, okay. I mean, she has to try something, and she also has to make some moves. She can't sit there and lose on time.
Yeah, because another problem.
That doesn't help anything.
Yeah. I mean, Nigel has, as someone's commented, handled the pressure very well. I suppose he's more experienced in this kind of position, where he needs to keep his nerve a little bit, I guess. In some respects, I mean, he's got more experience in this position.
You have moments that go for you. Maybe in the first game, the Bishop H4, a moment like that, it can just
change the whole thing.
It cheers you up a bit, and gives you a good feeling about the whole thing.
But
I mean, looks.
Maybe one of the most depressive things would have been if Yifan misses Bishop H4 and someone after the game, which I've had, I'm sure you've had, some, should we say, patzer comes up, why didn't you play Bishop H4? Straight away after you lose your game, and you think, I won't say it because I'm not allowed to say it on public air, but you don't want them to say that. And I guess it didn't happen, but it could have happened.
Time update, it's 30 seconds to 2.5 minutes.
Right, okay, White is in some serious problems here for White. Got to go with some crazy attack on the king side.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Nigel's going to play maybe Queen E4, maybe she can play Rook E1, so that might be a...
Okay, so if Queen E4, then
Rook E1,
just
so that
keep this queen away.
Maybe that's her.
And Rook F1.
But
okay, Rook C4, so I guess, okay, and G4 you just take on D4.
And D-pawn is
dropping. Doesn't seem like Nigel's king's really hasn't been in any danger at all, I guess, so...
D3.
Or at D3. So defending now. If you're defending a pawn down, Nigel looks big favourite to be Gibraltar champion. Wow.
Well, okay. I mean, G4 is a possibility here. I guess he'd prefer not to allow that.
Yeah.
I mean,
so Rook D3. Can we just play Rook C8 and Rook C3? Just try to exchange.
Maybe I was wondering if he might play this, use this tactical, but
Nigel down to 2 minutes.
Yeah.
With G6 to follow.
Interesting move. Yeah, just to.
Yeah. And how much? And G6. Okay. And how much time does White have here?
10 seconds.
That's not a lot of time, is it? So okay.
Bishop back.
Bishop. This could be
Bishop back to H4. She's going to play
E1. Okay.
E1,
well, Nigel clearly ahead on the clock and position, and he's going to be a happy boy. Queen to E2,
yeah,
okay.
Probably looking to go Queen G4, maybe swap queens even.
Just keep it simple.
So,
it's really looking pretty terrible, isn't it?
Yeah, it's...
Rook on 3, D2.
Well, Queen E3 is possible now also. So,
well,
Queen
Nigel.
E4, so it's just a...
6 seconds for Hou.
It is, yeah. And Nigel has, to be fair to Nigel, he's kept his cool really well. He had a great win with Black over Sasha Kieran today. And I think all credit to him, Disappointing for White because she's had the most amazing tournament, I think, of her life. Maybe as a 17-year-old, she must be up there in the top 10 tournaments ever, but this is looking like it's going to be over very quickly. Rook C8, and okay, well, that means Nigel will buy everyone in this room a bottle of champagne. And there goes his prize money. Mickey, you'll do the same, wouldn't you?
Well, I would have done if I'd won, of course, but as it turns out, it's not me.
I know. I was commentating earlier on that you were very unlucky that you had 2 blacks in the last 2 rounds. I mean, against 2 tough opponents, and you got some tough things. But okay, the game goes on. Queen to D3. So White is currently two pawns down, and Black has all the positional trumps here. Knight on F5. Rooks on the C-file, and the pieces may well just come off, and unless Nigel blunders here, then he'll win the game and he'll win the tournament. He'll be champion of Gibraltar. And another pair of pieces come off, H3, the queen comes into F3. Nigel playing very good chess. This is kind of a masterclass of the experienced player, maybe against the less experienced player, but okay. I mean, all credit to both players. I mean, White's had the tournament of her life. Obviously, going to be disappointed if she loses this one. Queen D1. Maybe a number of ways to finish this off, but okay. White just has to sit there and hold.
Still has a minute and 20 seconds.
I guess H4 could be played at some moment if Black so wishes. Maybe H4, G4, Knight G3 is.
Yeah, that looks maybe like a good idea now. Actually,
could be. Yeah, I mean, maybe H4 looks. I mean, with a Knight on F5. I mean, if White does not, okay, there's an exchange. Total control here still. Queen and Knight are very good against Queen and Bishop. Much better power force. Can you just take on G3? Be really greedy. Okay, it's White's move, so probably not. So check. And remember, a draw is not good enough for White. White has to win this game. So
yeah, I think
it's. I mean, okay.
I think it's probably just going to be a draw anyway.
Just Knight takes D4 or something like this, maybe. And
yeah, I think.
Okay, and White can't win this position. And the time situation is probably diabolical for White as well.
Don't know, maybe Nigel's thinking about the rapid rating list and he's going to go King H7.
Could it be? We had quite a funny one at Hastings, which maybe we won't go into at the moment. But okay, Queen S6 being played. Draw. Well done, Nigel. Okay, so we have the webcam there, live on the webcam. I guess Nigel will be joining us down here. Mickey, just out of interest, there's a very funny thing at Hastings. Well, okay, we have to congratulate the two players first before we go into any of my stupid stories. And, well, Nigel played a masterclass there. He played very well. He won the first game with a tricky opening. Second game, I think maybe Yifan sort of went a bit too gung-ho.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a difficult situation. And,
adjusting.
When it starts going bad, it's very hard actually in these kind of tie-break situations. When it starts going wrong, it's really hard to get it together. You don't have so much time, and you can't really think, and then you make quick moves, and it makes it worse. It's just difficult. And I feel a bit sorry she didn't show a bit better in the tie-break, but she played really.
She's had an amazing tournament, hasn't she? I mean, she's. I don't know, she must have had the highest rated performance of any player in this tournament, and she's played brilliant chess. So even though she didn't fare too well in this rapid chess, she can only be admired, and she's going to be a force to be reckoned with in male-female chess from now on. That's clear. But Nigel, okay, he's just won another £8,000. That's quite useful, and his experience, I guess, came through there. So, well done, Nigel. Unlucky Yifan, but very impressive chess. Very good tournament.